Hello and welcome to a brand new episode of The Luke Review. On this episode I'm going to be reviewing the new Batman v Superman, a film I was very excited to go and see. As you can tell, I'm actually on my own in this Luke review, which has, as we've noticed recently, the first ever episode of the proper Luke review without a guest. The last few ones I've had somebody here to bounce off of and talk about certain things. So it's a bit weird to actually be doing a full-length review video without anyone else to talk to. I've got my cat, he's in the background here. He's on the bed, he's sleeping. But he won't talk to me. He hasn't seen the film. It was something that's been in the works for quite a few years, considering the last film in the DC cinematic universe was the Man of Steel film, which I eventually only saw a couple of years after it came out. It's been a few years in the waiting for kind of like continuation of the DC cinematic universe, and this is what we got as they're, I think, trying to play catch up a bit with Marvel. Since Marvel's been doing it since 2008, since the Iron Man films, and DC's having to play catch up with the rights of Batman and Green Lantern and all the other characters have had different rights. It's been very difficult to get them all in the same universe, and this is sort of the beginning properly of this whole cinematic universe. Reflects quite a lot on what happens in the original Man of Steel film and brings it in and brings Batman into it. And first of all, let's talk about Superman. We've seen him before in Man of Steel, and I think he was great, played by Henry Cavill. I think Henry does a great job of portraying the Man of Steel. In this one, he seems to be the target by everybody, really. The idea was that Superman was this powerful being and nobody trusted him, and I don't know why. I can understand that a lot of things were destroyed in the first film while he tried to defeat Zod. But I don't quite see why he was blamed for it, as he was the one trying to protect. I don't know, the human race is very fickle, and to be honest, it's a very realistic look at if a superhero like Superman actually existed in real life. This is how the human race would react to him saving the place. They would react in the way that the losses and the deaths and the things that resulted in him trying to save the day. You know, he did it, and he saved more lives as a counterbalance to that, but people don't focus on that. So I think Superman, and to be honest, if I'm really honest, I'm very team Batman for this, but I think really Superman had the right side of this. He was a victim, I think, and Batman being completely unreasonable. But talking about Batman, I don't know if you guys know, I don't know if I mentioned it on this channel before, but Batman is my favourite superhero, although he's not really super. He's just a guy in a suit with gadgets and money, you know? Like Iron Man, really. But this is one of the best things about this film was Ben Affleck's performance as Batman. He only got one proper scene to shine, which was when the scene at the end where he had to try and save Superman's mother. And you got the way the fights played out was similar to that of the Batman Arkham games, and it really felt like he had enhanced the role. One thing we haven't seen in a Batman film, or the appearance of Batman in the cinematic universe, is an older Batman. I think I don't know if it was more reflected upon in older Batman films, but in comparison to, say, Christian Bale playing Batman in the Dark Knight trilogy, we got an older Batman. We didn't have that. We didn't have time for a start to establish the whole parents killed thing again. It was shown, but it wasn't as established because it took one film in Batman Begins for the Christian Bale trilogy, the Christopher Nolan's Batman films, to get him becoming Batman. We had to skip that bit. We had to go right ahead. Everyone knows his origin story by this point, with the whole Gotham series going on at the moment, and that last trilogy. I think people got the idea, so they didn't want to really sort of force that. I think that was good what they did. They showed the scenes of Bruce's parents being killed, and they showed his falling down the hole and seeing all the bats in the same sort of way as he did previously. So I think this was good, and it jumps further enough. He shows what Bruce Wayne was doing during the course of the first Man of Steel film, but he was very unreasonable, I think, as a character. It's shown that I think he's not got a lot left to lose. He lost Robin at some point prior to that, as we see Robin's suit covered in Joker's writing, so that's a reflection on something that happened actually in the Batman universe about Robin being killed by Joker. And I think, yeah, so that made him an unreasonable character, and he was on the wrong side of the stick for a long period of time. Well, quite a few people who didn't trust Superman. We got appearance from Wonder Woman was the other one. Her contribution, I don't know, it felt a bit weird having her in there as well. It made the final fight scene a bit more prominent. in the fact that both Superman and Wonder Woman could fight properly against what's his name, Doomsday. So because believe it or not, Batman didn't really stand a chance against Doomsday. But anyway, let's talk about the story. It did take a long time to get going. It seemed to have dragged on a bit, trying to re-establish what happened in the first Man of Steel film, to try and remind people what the hell was going on in that first film. It tried to, it tried to establish it really quickly, tried to get the Superman story, the whole going against him, trying to get Lex Luthor to mix things up, trying to get the Batman story thrown in there, and tried to reintroduce Wonder Woman as well, and sort of try and set up the Justice League, which I won't mention too much of a spoiler about what happens in the middle. There's one scene, but it tries to set up the Justice League. And I think it does, but I think it was trying to cram too much into one film. They're trying to play catch up with Marvel, and it was trying to cram it too much into one particular film. Lex Luthor blackmails Superman into fighting Batman. Batman is already pissed, so was willing to fight, and that scene entails, and that's what people came to see, the Batman fighting Superman thing, even though my brother stated that, why would they do that? And it seems very unrational of both of these characters to be fighting. Superman's fighting because he's the only way he can save his mother, and Batman is fighting because he's pissed, just for the reason. So it seemed very unreasonable. And that itself felt one-sided, because in a man-on-man fight, Superman has obviously all these abilities, while Batman is just a guy in a suit. He had some help from kryptonite, some certain kryptonite elements, but it just felt one-sided, where Batman was winning, Superman was winning, Batman was winning, Superman was winning, and Batman, that it didn't feel like there was an equal part in any of it. It felt very one-sided, and I don't know, it wasn't quite the fight we'd seen. And then we got the Doomsday fight at the end, and that was pretty good, but once again, it fell under. We had Superman and Wonder Woman fighting Doomsday, while Batman didn't really have much of a contribution, because Superman and Wonder Woman were struggling to fight Doomsday. Batman was starting no chance. We had a nice little bit where he helped, but it felt like there wasn't a proper contribution there, and maybe it would have been better to have a different sort of villain. Quickly, I'll talk about Lex Luthor. The performance by Jesse Eisenberg, when he was announced as Lex Luthor, I was very sceptical. I was unsure how he would play Lex Luthor. I know him from films like Zombieland and Adventureland as it. He's been in a few other films like that, and I thought he didn't seem quite the person to be playing Lex Luthor, as Lex seems to be more of a, I wouldn't say muscular man, but more of a bigger, bulky man, bald hair, and the portrayal was a bit bizarre. I will admit, I was surprised by his performance, and it was very good, but unfortunately the character didn't seem to have any sort of direction. He seemed to have wanted to get Batman to fight Superman, one of them to kill each other, set it up so Batman could kill each other, and then he wanted to release Doomsday on the world and destroy the world. Was that the idea? I wasn't quite sure what his plan was. Was it just to destroy the world, or he had an interior motive? It just didn't seem very obvious what he wanted to do. He just seems determined to get them two to fight, get Zod to turn into Doomsday, and then destroy stuff. It didn't sort of seem like not very good plan, if I'm honest. Lex Luthor strikes me as a character, although I don't really know much about the comics and stuff like that. He strikes me as a character who's more intelligent and want to rule a world and want to dominate a world, and it just didn't seem a way. If Superman couldn't contain Doomsday, how could Lex Luthor do it, to be honest? That's the idea. So I think I'm going to wrap up quickly, because I've been ranting on about it. The story was good, the character performances were good, and I think DC can try to take the superhero thing and try and make it their own now. And I'm looking forward to Suicide Squad, which is the next DC film. So I'm going to give it my quick review score, and I'm giving it I'll give it a 6.5 out of 10, which is very reasonable. I enjoyed it. But there's a lot of things that could have made it better. Anyway, thank you for watching this video. I will hopefully try and make more content. I'm trying to keep a constant flow of videos coming, so let me know what you want to see from me. Leave a like, subscribe, comment, all of that, and I hope to see you in my next video. Thank you very much for watching. Goodbye.
You've been watching the Luke Nyul channel. Don't forget to click below to see more videos, and don't forget to comment, like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.